and get rolling. So I appreciate you getting on. I'm going to ask you to, if you don't mind, if you think this is beneficial to anyone, then just take a second to um, hit somebody up and tell them to get on and join us. All right. I feel like we have some good stuff to share. And so you can just tell them to join us. However, they can go to our YouTube channel and check us out there. So then just go to YouTube, type in SMZBC Worships, SMZBC Worships, WORSHIPS, one word. Or they can go to Facebook and just go to our Six Mount Zion Baptist Church Six Mount Zion Baptist Church Facebook page. Or they can call in 203-9011, or they can get on Zoom. And if you're on Zoom, just share the meeting ID with them. All right. So we've got 4 platforms that we're on. Today we already had a good discussion, and we're going to try to pick that up, that same discussion up this evening. And so again, just go ahead and encourage somebody to get on and join in on the discussion. After we finish tonight, this recording will be up on Facebook and will stay up permanently as a part of our running history of this 5 love languages piece. So this is our 3rd week of talking about the 5 love languages. We started out 2 weeks ago focusing on just the foundation of love and what love looks like. And we spent some time kind of delving into 4 types of love. Eros, we talked about storge, we talked about philia, we talked about agape. And so Eros being that romantic, personal feeling type of love, and philia and storge kind of having their own different dynamics. And then agape love is the love that God loves us with. And so if you want to, and you're Six Mount Zion members or friends, you can download our app, Six Mount Zion Baptist Church, Sixth, SIXTH, Mount Zion Baptist Church, Richmond. You can download the app on Android or Apple phones. And in the sermon category, you can find some of our older Bible studies. Also, again, if you're on Facebook, just go to our Facebook page and you can go back and watch some of our older Bible studies there. All right, last week. And so the end of the first week, we started talking about what the 5 love languages are. And then last week, we focused on our first love language, which was words of affirmation. All right, words of affirmation. And so if you are, and I'm sorry, if you are inviting people to get on Zoom, then, I haven't shared the screen with you guys. I'm sorry. Our Zoom piece is right there. The Zoom meeting ID is there too if you want to share that with your friends. All right, Zoom. So you should be coming up in a second. So last week we talked about the 5, really about the six. We talked about the 6 ways that you affirm words. All right, the words of affirmation, the 6 words of affirmation that we were looking at. I'm sorry. Let me get out one more time, Zoom. I apologize. Yeah. All right. So just give me a second, Zoom. We're going to I'm going to just slide over real quickly, and you guys just keep on listening to me. We talked about the 6 forms of words of affirmation. We also talked about God's connection to us. So the principal piece that I talked about last week was whatever your love language is, that's usually the way you share that same love language with God. All right. And so every Tuesday, we're going to take some time kind of setting the framework for what the love language is. And then Wednesdays, we'll take some time to jump into what are some practical tips. So that's what you're going to get tonight. And so for those of you who were on last night, we talked about a couple things. But last night, as we looked at words of affirmation, the 6 pieces that we dealt with as it relates to words of affirmation were you can give affirming words through encouragement. You can give affirming words through just being kind. You can give affirming words through being humble. You can give affirming words through compliments, praise, appreciation, all of those things. All right. And so those were the practical tools. Then we looked at some scriptures that revolved or evolved out of that conversation. Last night, we did the same thing with quality time. So I went through some basic principles with quality time last night. And one of the things that I wanted to share as it relates to quality time was last night. I want to reaffirm something that I shared with the group on last night. And that is quality time evolves pretty much as we looked at quality times. It primarily dealt with conversations and activities. All right, conversations and activities. Those who have a love language of quality time expect, need, want a couple of things. All right, they want an undivided focus. They want undivided attention. Those who have the love language of quality time want to be around you, want to be sharing space. And so even if they're not able to share physical space, they want your undivided attention if you're talking or whatever be the case. So those things are important. So last night we talked about the importance of quality conversation, and we talked about the importance of quality activity. All right. And so I'm going to give you some practical tips at the end of this today, some things that you can do as it relates to quality activity, and you can thank me later when you see me. All right. So again, I am doing my Zoom doesn't. All right. So Zoom, I'm sorry. You guys are not seeing the screen. So we're going to try to work through that as we're going forward, but you're not missing anything right now. So we're going to try to get this screen up in a second. All right. Some of the basic principles of quality connection. All right. And so I'm just highlighting something that I shared last night. Some piece of the quality connection. So if you're taking notes, if I am in a quality conversation, all right, quality conversation requires me to make eye contact, help me to center in on the moment. All right, when I'm looking at somebody and I'm talking to them, then it keeps me from wandering. All right, undivided attention. I cannot be connected in quality conversation and be doing everything else. All right, so if I'm talking to you in the moment, then I'm not texting, I'm not sending an email, I'm not running around doing all kinds of little chores. I'm focusing on you in the minute, in the moment. I'm listening for feelings. All right. So I am trying to connect with you. I want to make sure that you are hearing me, that that I am feeling you. All right, that I am connected to you. All right. And then the last thing that I'm doing as it relates to quality conversation is I am observing body language. All right. I am observing body language, because you can be saying one thing to me, but you could be, as you're talking to me, your body can be saying something else. All right. Your body can be saying something else. So again, a key ingredient of quality time is giving focused attention. A key ingredient of quality time is giving focused attention. And the craziest thing of this is it is very important for somebody who has the quality time love attribute to know that you are paying attention in this era of distractions. All right. There are so many distractions that come our way on a regular basis now. So many distractions that come our way on a regular basis now. So I shared this yesterday and I want to share it again. And I'm going to move through this kind of quickly. What makes one person feel loved emotionally is not always the thing that makes another person feel loved emotionally. So remember, when I first started talking about this, if you were with us last week, I gave the example, or maybe it was the week before last. I gave the example of, yes, you love people, but you have people who have different love languages. You got one child who's a quality time kid. Then you got another child who's a receiving gifts kid. You got a dad who's an acts of service person. And then you've got a best friend who's a physical touch. All right. Now, you love all of them, but if you're not in tune with their language, you could be missing out on the maximizing of that love. All right. So if I am in relationship with somebody who is a quality time person, but I spend most of my time loving through gifts, then I'm going to miss out. They may say thank you. Yes, they may wear the watch or the necklace or thank you for the gift card. But the truth is, they would much rather you spend some time with them because quality time is their love language. And so I've shared with you, here's the key to this whole thing. Understand your language because you need to be able to articulate that to others. But the other part of it is you need to make sure that you are taking time understanding the love language of those who are around you. All right. We are a church, Christian church, Baptist church, and I am a pastor. So let me make sure that every time we sit down with you, we're trying to share some scriptures as well as combining it with some practical measures. And so when we look at Luke, the 10th chapter, verses 38 through 42, looking at the Message translation, we can find two ladies who, through their actions, are probably letting you know what their love languages are by the way they interact with Jesus. All right. So I want you to listen to the text and tell me what you think their love languages are. As Jesus and his disciples were on their way, he came to a village where a woman named Martha opened her home to him. She had a sister called Mary who sat at the Lord's feet listening to what was said. But Martha was distracted. This is the text. This is what the text is saying. By all of the preparations that had to be made. She came to him and she asked, Lord, don't you care that my sister has left me to do the work by myself? Tell her to help me. All right. Martha, Martha, the Lord answered. You're worried and upset about many things, but few things are needed. All right. Or indeed only one. Mary has chosen what is better, and it will not be taken away from her. All right. So when we look at this text, all right, where these four verses. All right. Now I have time to preach about Mary's attributes and Martha moving around. I simply want you to look at the text, and based upon their actions, what do you think their love languages may be? Because remember, I said, Gary Chapman believes that how you want to be loved probably is how you love primarily. All right. How you want to be loved is how you love. All right. Now, I shared with you guys last week, just being transparent. And because I took the test, I realized that my love language is words of affirmation. And so it is easier for me to share those words because that's what I'm comfortable with. And that's the way I like to be loved. So those things are important. So yes, on somebody's birthday, I will pick up the phone, shoot a text real quick, share some things that are important to me. Because I also believe that they will be important to you. But if your love language is receiving gifts, doesn't make a difference what I send you via text. All right. So I share that as an example because I believe I tend to agree that there is probably some truth to the fact that your love language is what you're probably most common. All right. So shoot me an answer on Facebook or hit me up in the chat on Zoom. What do you think Mary's love language is based upon how she acts in the text? What do you think Martha's love language is based upon how she responds in the text? All right. And so if you are on, and I'm leaning over to look at this computer in the Zoom chat. Yep. So a couple persons, and I definitely see one answer. Martha is acts of service, and Mary is quality time. Correct. All right. Based upon what we see, for Martha, it is important that, and we'll talk about this in either next week or week after next. It's important to her to make sure that her work shows Jesus that she cares. All right, that's important to Martha. That's why she wants to make sure that the house is straight, that the food is prepared, that everything is straight, that Jesus has something cold to drink, etc. All right, because that's important. Where Mary is saying, listen, later for that stuff in the kitchen, all that running around, movement, I just want to sit at his feet and spend some time with him. All right, so you can see that even in the text. Yesterday, I spent some time and we looked at, I think, a text from Luke and Mark. And even then, there was a moment, for those of you who weren't with us yesterday, you might want to go check it out. It's on YouTube and it's on Facebook. You can go check it out from yesterday. There was a moment in the text where Jesus arrives into an area and he specifically makes sure that nobody else is around trying to get to them because he wanted to spend some quality time with the disciples. There's another moment where Jesus is with with sinners and tax collectors, also spending some quality time, all right, trying to build relationships, and those who were in relationship with him did not understand the importance of that piece. Now, on yesterday, I took a moment and I shared this, and I'll share it again real quickly. Every day, every person receives the same amount of time, 24 hours, 1,440 minutes, 86,400 seconds. All right. At the end of the day, once 11:59 p.m. hits the night and your clock started at 12:01 a.m., that's it. Or 12 o'clock a.m. That's it. You can't roll it over. You can't save it. You can't buy more of it. All right. It can't be hacked into, stolen. Time cannot be exchanged or refunded. Time is extremely limited, yet it is insanely in demand. Now, what do you mean by that? Think about all of the things that compete for your time every day. For those of you who are still working, your job. It used to be your commute in and out. Those of you still driving in and out to work, that even while you're driving now, you're trying to multitask, talking to people on the phone. Hopefully you're not doing much other than that, talking to people. But we try to do everything we can to maximize our time. All right. Try to get a workout in, try to get a walk in, a run in. All right. Try to make sure that we are talking to our friends and our neighbors and our children and our intimate partners and our extended family. All right. Our friends. If you got kids, you got to get in their practices. You got to get in their games and their recitals. You want to get in your hobbies. If you're knitting or you like playing video games or whatever be the case. All right. Your body requires some of your time. So you got to rest. You got to sleep. All right. There's so many options and no one understands that more than who? The person whose love language is quality time. Unfortunately, the love language of quality time is much more different. It's difficult to speak that love language than either words of affirmation or physical touch. What do you mean by that, Rev? A meaningful touch may be given in a second. Like somebody with the love language of quality touch may simply just need a hug. All right, a hug will fill up their emotional love tank. Well, it doesn't take long to give a hug. Even a long hug ain't no more than 10, 15 seconds. All right. Doesn't take long to do that. Words of affirmation doesn't take but a few seconds to say some words of affirmation. All right. But for those of us who have the quality time love language, then quality time may require hours. All right. So it takes real effort to carve out quality time in your schedule. But making the effort, hear me, is like an investment in the future of your relationship. It is imperative and important. All right. It may take some time though. All right. So the call to something quality is to set a high bar. Someone who does quality work goes the extra mile. Think about people who do quality work in your life. They fix your car, but it's quality. All right. You go to someone that does your hair, cuts your hair. You ain't just going to anybody. You want somebody that does some quality work. They stay focused on the task at hand. They won't quit until things are right. All right. Quality. It is not just time. It's not the 5 love languages are not words of affirmation, physical touch, acts of service, time. No, the word quality is important. All right. Gary Chapman says in the book this, and I made mention to write it down. When you give it quality time, all right, make sure it's the best that you got. That's why I tell you to give undivided, unfocused time. All right. Focused time, not unfocused. I'm sorry. All right. So quality time does not mean that you got to sit there gazing in somebody's eyes. All right. The importance of quality time is the why behind the what. And this is what we shared yesterday. Understanding that the activity that you are participating in is the vehicle for your togetherness. What I am choosing to do, even if I don't like it, is important to the person that I am doing it with. All right. Those things are important. And one of the pieces that we pull, Gary Chapman says, when a child's love tank is empty and attention is the only thing that will fit it, that child will go to almost any length to get what they need. There's a story in the 5 Love Languages book for children that talks about a child whose love language is quality time. All right. And so they go to mom and, they say, Mom, please come sit down and play with me. And mom says, look, baby, I got to pay some bills. I need to write out some checks real quick. Come back in a few minutes. 5 minutes later, the child is right there again. Please, Mom, come with me. Mom says, I'm not finished. Give me a few minutes. And that baby is persistent in coming back and forward because quality time is important. All right. Now, one of the things that we've noticed is that this is true for adults too. All right. This is true for adults too. Your love tank is empty. And attention, some quality time is the only thing that will fix it. All right. Now, some people will see negative attention as better than no attention. Unfortunately, some of us have to kind of live in that type of environment, but that's not anything that we are advocating. All right. We're looking for some positive reinforcement. Quality time is the gift of your presence. I'm just reiterating the message. The gift of your presence to somebody else. All right. You are, when you are giving and offering up quality time, you are saying to that person, I care about you. I love you. All right. Now, one thing that I want to just tell you, and I know I don't need to tell you this because this is definitely not something that you do, but don't let the demonstration of your love. Now, this says to a child, but I'm just saying to anybody, be controlled by whether the person is pleasing you at the moment. Love is love. All right. Don't use your love as some type of reward. Love, just love. Even if the person does something that you don't like, they say something you don't like, they act in a way that's not pleasing to you. Don't let the demonstration of your love, don't rob people of your love because they have done something to displease you in the moment. Also, another piece that comes out of the Children and Teenagers 5 Love Languages book, if you have several children, you need to look for times when you can be alone with each one of them. All right. The group activities are great, but if you've got individuals, then you've got to spend individual time with them. If their love language is quality time. All right. Hopefully you're getting that. Same thing with your friends. It's cool for all y'all to go out, but if you've got a friend who has a quality time love language, then they are definitely going to want to make sure that you and them are spending some time together. Also, a piece that comes from the 5 love languages for teenagers, many teenagers live in houses that are filled with the latest technology, but empty love tanks. One of the psychologists that are associated with the 5 love languages book that Gary Chapman wrote says this: without focused attention, a teenager experiences increased anxiety because he feels everything else is more important. She feels everything else is more important than they are. They are consequently less secure and becomes impaired in their emotional and psychological growth. Now, this is a conversation for another day, but clearly I want to challenge you to make sure that when you are engaging your children and your teenagers, whether they are yours or they're somebody else's, I challenge you to make sure that you get them to engage you in conversation. All right? Put that stuff down, look them in the face. And I'm sure I'm not the only person that notices this, but our kids, they don't write anymore. They're not really used to face-to-face interaction. It almost like it makes them uncomfortable. All right? But it is important that we spend time looking at them. I've got a preteen, a teenager, and a post-teen, pretty much. And all of them, if it was up to them, they will walk around every day with something in their hands. All right. That's how they talk to each other. That's how they stay connected to the world. But it also, and they don't even really realize this, has a way of emotionally and psychologically depriving them. All right. And so let's spend some quality time. All right. I'm going to head to the finish line, but I'm going to do that. Remember, I told you every Tuesday we're going to spend some time delving into what the love language is. All right. So when we talked about the words of affirmation, we looked at the traits. All right. When we talked about quality time, we looked at quality conversation, quality activities. And then the Wednesday discussions will include examples of how you do this. All right. And then tomorrow, we're going to delve into what is God saying about these love languages. All right. And then how does this look? If words of affirmation is my love language, how does that look in my relationship with God? We talked about that last Thursday. Tomorrow, we'll talk about a quality time. All right. Now, quality time is one of those things that we try to say we do, but we probably don't do as much as we want to, or as much as God wants us to, nor as much time that we need to. All right. Spending some quality time with God. But that's tomorrow. All right. Here's some quality time tips. Take some pictures, write them down. Thanks for sharing this, Rev. That's what you might be saying. I'm in relationship with some people who are quality time people. What are some things that I can do with them? All right. First thing, designate some specific times and places for some planned togetherness. Planned togetherness. And I know we're at stay at home according to where you live. It's now safer at home. So as things are starting to ease a little, then you may be able to start spending some time with some people that you've not been able to spend time with. Quality time is important. And I'm telling you, for those who have the love language of quality time, they are probably struggling during this time because they're missing being in the presence of different folk. All right. Second thing, ask your loved one. This is what you can do. I know that quality time is your love language. Why don't you throw together a list of 5 activities that you would love for me and you to do. Then make some plans to do it. It's just that simple. Come up with a list of some stuff that you can do. Make some time every day, quality time tips, to share with each other some of the events of your day. Think about your day, and it may seem insignificant to you, but guess what? For quality time, folk, it's more about why you're doing it and not what you're doing. All right? Take some time. Dream out loud. Dream out loud about places you like to go on vacation. Maybe with the person that you're talking to, or maybe it just gives you something to talk about. Do you know how many places are out there that you've not experienced? Pick up a travel section in a newspaper. Go to the store, pick up a newspaper. I know on Sundays they got travel sections in there. Pick up a travel magazine, get online, hit up some travel sites. There are a lot of places where you can check out. All right, make a list, just something for you to do to give you something to laugh at or something to talk about. Make a list of your top 10 favorite times together. Compare the list. See what you got, see what they got, and watch how much conversation comes out of that. Make sure that all your time, when you're dealing with and talking to somebody who has the quality love language of quality time, is not focused on just day-to-day stuff, the mechanics of life. All right. Don't get stuck in that. All right. Don't get stuck just talking about, I had this for breakfast. I rode down Broad Street. I stopped in Sam's Club. Why don't you make your engage in some type of conversation that is not just some life mechanic stuff? Here's a good one. Pray together. All right. Take a few minutes and pray. Whether you're on the telephone or you in the person's presence, guess what? Not only will you and that person benefit from it, but it also give you some time with God. Forget what you planned and do something spontaneous. Take a vacation day. And here's the crazy thing. Most of us who've been working from home probably haven't taken no days off or vacation days in the last 2.5 months. All right. So your stuff should be racking up if you're still working. If you're not, or whatever your situation is, won't you just do something spontaneous? Wake up. It's a beautiful day. Come up with a plan and make it happen. All right. Headed toward the finish line. Take turns selecting books to read and discuss or read aloud to each other. You can also pick some shows to watch. Maybe it's something on Netflix or Hulu or Amazon Prime or whatever it is that you've got. Pick something that you guys can watch together or read together. Take a car trip. All right. Car trips tend to promote conversation. You can actually get in the car and just drive. You might not be able to get out and go into anywhere. But being in the car, make sure the people take their earbuds out, turn the radio down low so it doesn't distract from the conversation, and just have some good conversations. I guarantee you that most of you on this call, and you can hit me up on the chat and tell me whether you agree or disagree, that some of your best conversations happened in the car while you was riding with somebody. All right. Now, this is a practical thing. If you run out of things to say, learn to enjoy the silence of togetherness. All right. Learn to enjoy the silence of togetherness. You don't have to talk all the time. Sometimes just being in the presence of somebody is important. All right. And so somebody with the love language of quality time would agree with me, I'm certain. All right. Find some silly things to laugh at or laugh about. Talk about them. See where it takes you. Conversation starters. Ask some very specific questions. All right. Now, especially with children, if you want to spark some conversation and then that evolve into some quality time, then ask some open-ended questions and see where that takes you. All right. Last 1 or 2 things. Occasionally, take a walk or ride a bike together. Seek some opportunities to spend time together that also include exercise. Now, when the gyms were still open, I used to go, and one of the things that I liked, even though I had a personal trainer, I like other people being there. It's nothing like working out with somebody else, pushing each other, having good conversation. Do that with those who like quality time. All right. Won't you? Even now, you can do this. I live in Verona. There's a Capitol Trail there. There are trails all over the place. Bird Park used to have a walking trail. Find some folk. Put your mask on or whatever be the case. And go walking. Go take a walk. If you're bike riders, get your bikes out and go take a ride together. All right. Seek some opportunity to spend. All right. On rainy days, if you're in the house with somebody, sit in the same room and read quietly. All right. Each of you with your own book or magazine. I mentioned this earlier. If you are there with a child, set up your workroom together. All right. You put your little office in there, wherever you're working out of, and then make sure that your kid is working close by. Maybe some conversation may come out of that. Last thing, choose a couple of board games or card games that you can regularly play together. Those moments always are some good times to share together. I shared with the group earlier. I've got a group of persons that I connect with, and we play Monopoly on Sundays. And that was one of the things that was depressing to me, that we no longer could get together. I look forward to every Sunday night being with that group of individuals, not just for the competitiveness of the game, but more so for the fellowship. All right. And so those things are important. And so what am I going to pull away from this? If I am in relationship with someone who is a quality time person, I need to make sure that I am giving them undivided, focused attention. That those who have the love language of quality time care less about gifts. They're not really all that motivated by acts of service, not as a primary language. The words are cool, but they like time. All right. They want to be around you. They want to look you in the face. They want to feel your presence. They want to hear your voice. All right. And so if you're in a relationship with quality time people, then that's important. And again, usually whatever your love language is how you love primarily. All right. And so I can't wait for us to be engaged tomorrow. Tomorrow we are going to be journeying and looking at what God says about this. All right. So those of you who are on Facebook, thank you for joining us. Those of you on YouTube, thank you for joining us. I'm going to end right here with YouTube. And I will take a second to let you know, those who are on Zoom and Uber Conference, they usually hang around. I don't want, because I usually share some information about our members, sick and shut in, things we need to be praying for. And I don't want to just leave our members out there with their information lagging in cyberspace. So we're going to end this with our Facebook and YouTube folk. And what I will say is this, and then this will cover announcements. If you are enjoying this, those of you who are on social media, if you're on Facebook, this is recorded. I need you to do me a favor. I want you to get off when we're done, and I want you to share this on your personal pages. All right. Share this on your personal pages. All right. Because we want as many people to be blessed by this as possible. This is going to be something that I'm going to start asking you to do. All right. So share this. If you're on YouTube, then go on your social media and share this YouTube video. All right. That would go a long way. And if you want to bless us, we'll put some information in the chat for how you can give toward the ministry online, how you can hit us up on Cash App, Venmo, and sending money in. We'll connect that to the videos when we post if you want to be a blessing to the ministry. All right, Facebook, YouTube, thank you guys. Jump on again tomorrow at noon, and we'll be right back here. All right, thank you. For the rest of you who are with us, Uber Call,